So, I guess scratch all the plan making. Let's finish off this level. Just a simple plain ogre with a spiked club. That's all you got, game? Ran out of two-headed ogres already? Come on. Oh gosh, a bunch of them. I was just kidding about the taunts game. Please don't actually send things after me. I'm not emotionally or mentally prepared for that kind of damage. But wow, we've found a decent number of spellbooks so far. Relative to most games, and in fact relative to most spellcaster games where I'm actually actively looking for spellbooks. But nothing will pick up. Most likely transmutations are really hard, especially for a Gargoyle to just kind of get into on the side with the -2 aptitude. Could always, in the late game though, try and get translocations up a bit. Blink is a nice thing. Blink, apportation, I guess a couple of those kind of auxiliary spells that we could toss in with the Gargoyle. Depending on how experience goes here. Especially, I guess, with the fact that since we are worshipping Go's Egg. Let's pop in there, then just close that. Never go back. But because we're worshipping Go's Egg, we don't have to worry about training invocations at all, so that gives us a little bit of leeway for experience building here. Which is definitely nice, because as a brute, we'll probably be leaning into throwing and or evocations to kind of supplement ranged for us here. Also, polearms is really ranking up quickly here, so I'm gonna right-click that, or get to the info on Trident and hit S to just set a target manually there by default. And let's maybe, before I head down any further or make any big changes here, take care of some more of the unidentified stuff in our inventory. So we have 2 scrolls of identify. Ooh, I was gonna say I have to use it on the amulet, but we're with Go's Egg this game, so fortunately, because piety and faith isn't a thing with Go's Egg, we're not as scared about potentially limiting ourselves with a faith amulet early on here. And in fact, it is a faith amulet. So even on putting that on, we get Go's Egg cares for nothing but gold. So fortunately, not punished for just taking that off as well. But okay. What a perfect example of how that usually goes. Getting the Faith Amulet first and accidentally equipping it and being stuck with it for the foreseeable future until you get enough piety to have some flexibility. But I may identify some scrolls here. We have quite a few decent number of stacks here, which I don't love. It's nice when you have like the 3 high quantity scrolls, your identifies, remove curses, teleports, and then usually, of course. And then it's nice when you have just a few, like 2 scroll stacks, because oftentimes that's where I'm going for my fog scrolls, blink scrolls that I really want identified without having to use one. Let's go with a 3 stack. Okay, we got amnesia on that one. Read 1 more scroll of identify, and let's roll the dice here again. Let's hit a 2 stack, and this time it's gonna be blinking. Enchant armor, so at least a little more useful to us than amnesia, but probably not yet, not for the time being. Let's pop down. We should be able to handle D10 just fine still, so I think we will finish off here trying to get a little more experience before heading back up to Lair. I was just waiting turns there, waiting for the white to notice us, but I guess I should probably at least be throwing stones or something, right? Then we can take some stabs. Perfect. Soldier Ant. Susceptible to poison. You love to see it. So get out the poison darts and get slinging. Perfect. Anything to make these encounters just a wee bit easier, and then run from the archer into the little corner. Cubby as well. Perfect. Not too shabby. Had a bit of a mixed start so far, a couple of scary uniques, well, relatively scary for the early game at the very least, but probably not through the last of our troubles yet. I guess I should also tack on that red dragon guarding our lair entrance is a little bit tricky to get past and deal with, but still, Not too many complaints on my end, and getting an enchanted shield, just +2, unfortunately no ego, but that's still something, and another chance to change up our outfit for a bit here. And then Joseph. Such an enigmatic unique. I always think that he's so weak, but occasionally I have runs that are just almost immediately on the verge of death from just the slings. But +0 hunting sling. I think I can take them. With the trident here, +11 trident. Perfect, no problems. But yeah, that's how I always expect the Joseph fights to go, but occasionally he just completely wrecks house with that dang old sling. I guess normally without a gargoyle, you're not quite going to be sitting at 18 AC at this point in the game or at this stage, even if you're playing as a brute class, or background I should say, since classes really aren't a thing in DCSS. It's very much just what you've done up until that point, and the future is free and open. Change what you do with your life, for sure. And there we go, D10, all explored, Staff of Earth. So this is actually, yeah, pretty solid run, potentially for an Earth Elementalist start. If anyone wants to grab the seed and pop in with that, give it a go. But let's drop that bad boy on the ground. I don't think we'll be using it ourselves here. And then we'll also take this opportunity to test out this other new ring we got. Ring of Positive Energy. So that does bring us up to 2 pips of Renus negative, which is not really at all necessary for this stage of the game, but will be awesome for some point here. So I'll take it. Especially since Rings of Stealth aren't exactly doing anything for us anyway. Should also quickly check my phone here. Perfect. And so that's D10 done. I'm leaning towards heading straight back up to Lair now. Again, the only scary thing is potential of running into that fire dragon unexpectedly around a corner, or coming up from Lair, running away from something. Gozag forbid. And so let's maybe be careful, but oh, I guess right. The other option is to go into Orc here. Get a bit more experience, but you know what? Let's just peek up this stair. Where does that let out? That's not great. Oh, but that's the only downstairs that works. Okay, that's the one. Oh, I don't like how long the trek is here. Gonna have to be a wee bit cautious, and in fact, instead of using my numpad, I might click here just so that the game will actively alert me to enemies. Make sure I don't miss anything there. Even a single turn in range of that fire dragon might spell destruction for us. But we made it into Lair at the very least. Now let's just hope we can cut it down here. Fortunately, we have a decent start in all these little corridor bits. It's nice anytime you don't have a completely wide open Lair floor plan. Ooh, geez. A little bit sketchier here. Specifically, spiny toads are always a little bit scary. Bit of a skill check for the first layer of, or first floor or level of Lair, I guess is what I was going for there. The first layer of Lair. And Komodo dragons are actually another one of those things that normally is a good indication of whether we're able to cut it down here, and that went all right as well. So I think we made a decent choice heading this way. Polearms isn't that long from hitting its threshold, which will mean we can start supplementing in something else. I would love to find an early game evocable. That would be real swell. I guess wand charges we're doing okay with. So maybe I will head over into evocations once our weapon hits min delay. But alright, an 8-headed Hydra. Definitely a tricky one. Fortunately, gargoyles are well suited for taking out Hydras. Because high AC is quite effective against the multiple weaker attacks of the Hydra. Weaker being relative, of course, but still, technically AC is the way to go for sure. Right, and we're the same speed, so we can at least run away for the time being, head back up to this open area we know is cleared here. And, because my thoughts here are that we have a Wand of Ice Blast, so any cold damage, we're able to slow the Hydra in addition to our solid AC. I probably shouldn't just try and fight the Hydra for the heck of it, but I can kind of do it. The polymorph was mostly just for fun here to see what kind of options we have to turn it into. Very scary things, which makes sense. 8-headed Hydra, quite frightening. But yeah, so Ice Blast, but also the thing I just realized is we have nets as well. So I think first I'm gonna try net. Ooh, we got it first try. Then let's slow it. Ooh, made noise, heard some hissing. Hopefully I haven't attracted too much to us here, but do I want to waste all my Ice Blast charges on this bad boy? Let's double check. Resistant to poison, so poison needles aren't gonna do the trick anyway. Let's do it. Icy Blast Wand. And maybe even, let's see how the Wand of Flame does, because if we're able to not use up all the charges on our Ice Blast, it was close. But I think we're going to switch back to the Ice Blast here, and then finish off the fight with our Trident. Get a satisfying end to the Hydra there. Oh gosh, Rhyme Drake, I was a little bit frightened of on sight here, but we do have a pip of RC at the very least, so probably a bit easier than we're used to even, taking care of that buddy. And alrighty. Definitely an interesting start so far to Lair, but we're figuring out we have just enough puzzle pieces to make our way through without too much trouble here. Let's use our one Identify scroll to find out what this dagger does. A +9 dagger. What is with all of these ridiculous artifacts we're running into? Also int +7, so I kind of wish I was playing a hybrid now, because that is a beautiful stat stick, I think is the colloquial term for those weapons that you just hang on to for casting spells and won't do much good in a swinging deal, or I guess in a direct offensive fashion. But holy moly. And actually, yeah, thinking about it now, there's a demon spawn, an old demon spawn character of mine. It's my one semi-infinite, big quotations there, so many caveats. But I spent a long time searching around with that buddy, trying to find a nice intelligence buffing artifact for just getting full spell power on a bunch of the level 9s. Ooh, mesmerized. Can I not go upstairs? I cannot go upstairs. I was pretty sure that was the way mesmerize worked, but good to confirm that right away. Alright, that could have been a lot worse if we were surrounded by enemies there, but fortunately, not too shabby. And now, there is a volcano somewhere on this level. I could start reading some scrolls, hoping for magic mapping. Let's maybe start heading towards an edge here. Ooh, we got shoals this time. That is awesome. A little bit trickier to deal with than Swamp, at least for the most part. A lot of heavy damage dealers down there. But awesome for picking up javelins, throwing nets, and we'll also get shops this time around, or an extra set of shops, which is beautiful because greed is good, and we're getting all the gold in the world. Okay, I was just hoping to happily hop down to the helmet here after that and pick that bad boy up for a little bit of extra AC, but turns out it's carefully guarded by a series of yaks. Oh gosh, now we're on the verge of being surrounded, or having the potential for being surrounded. Oh, and an elephant? Wait a second. What the heck is happening? Okay, so instead of just continuing to fight, I'm going to use the fact that enemies will often get distracted by our gold to run away, to bravely turn our back and flee, and instead, let's head upstairs, because that is absolutely ridiculous down there. We've just completely called far too much attention to ourselves and should probably pivot a bit. Okay, slow rumble of a very distant. Interesting. Actually, did I see any... I stopped paying attention at a certain point there to any notifications about the volcano. Slow rumble of a distant. So, distant, contrary to what it may seem, means that we were quite close to it here. And that would have been when we were down here, I believe. So, it's probably in this section of the map, if I had to guess. That's very distant from where we currently are, distant to there, trying to like triangulate the position. If we had a third point, then there we go. That is the whole reason why it's called triangulation. But you can still potentially find it. Ooh, the +4 dagger morgue. So an unrand art here, one of the pre-coded artifacts, I believe. So dagger of pain, will plus is honest at this point in the game. That alone is enough for me to pick it up here, just in case we don't ever end up running into any willpower sources. Then we'll definitely appreciate that. Interesting. So we just got very distant message. So I was completely wrong in my triangulation results. Question is, does this... Oh, this probably still counts. There we go. I misjudged where the right side of the level was. Oh gosh, that's a dead end. Hopefully we don't run into the entire batch of friends we left behind this a ways. Also, I need to stop hitting S unnecessarily, because that just stalls out and waits a turn for no reason whatsoever. Oh gosh. You know how I was just talking about not calling the attention of all of the friends we left behind? Fortunately, not looking like it's going to be an option today. But as long as they filter in one by one like that, not too shabby. Can take care of them without too much trouble. Come on, Blink Frog. Come at me, please. I need to find this volcano, you son of a gun. I have things to do, important people to see. I hate running into more enemies with that Blink Frog right behind us, but... Oh, we got the very distant message again. Crap, so I was probably incorrect about my... Or, I was definitely incorrect. But my idea of being around here when we got that first message, I should have probably looked at the log a bit more. Maybe it was during our retreat when we were heading up this way. Would up here count as very distant from that stairwell area? I don't know, we won't give up hope yet. Could still run into it. Six-headed Hydra, you know, not quite as scary as the 8-headed. I think we can take this one. Perfect. Ooh. We are getting just the distant message for the volcano now. Don't know how long it will hold up though. Come on, volcano. You can do it. Don't give up hope. Gosh. Just winding hallways. Not quite. That's dead end there. Still getting the message for distant. So maybe here? I don't think there's usually stone walls around the... Hey! I was gonna say around the volcano, and there aren't. There are stone walls around the vaults, though. And there's our volcano. Unfortunately, we have no RF at all. I should probably at least peek my head in here. Can always retreat right away. At least most of the time. These volcanoes aren't too scary in that way. Okay. Interesting. This was a bad decision to open the door. I don't think I've ever seen this volcano before. Toenail golems. 13 damage each. A little bit scary. Have you figured out ID scrolls yet? Like, have we identified them? Yes, and unfortunately, we just used them up. So that's why I have so many high stacks of scrolls. I'm just waiting for more identify, hoping that I don't have to use up my blinking or fog scrolls. I should probably read one of these high stacks though and get teleport identified, because no reason not to have some kind of fallback option. But back to the current here. Wizard is very scary for banishment, paralyze, or slow, and all this damage. In fact, why are you just dangerous? Why aren't you like, get the heck out of here? This looks very dangerous for your character, right, Railbird? Yeah, I agree. I don't know why the game isn't properly identifying how scary this is. I think I'm just gonna leave. Is my plan. We could get 1 pip of willpower with Morg here. I think that would bring us down to like somewhere in the 15 to 25% chance range on those wizard spells, but I guess the only other consideration I want to make here real quick before I pop out is that we could do something like Potion Petition, see if we get a really ridiculous array of potions, because if we get like haste as well as might, etc., we may be able to take this fight and get out quite ahead because of it. But I know that if I get banished, I will want to hit myself for my stupidity. I just always have to question, because it's always tempting to try and push through these scarier fights. I wish that Berserking gave you unlimited willpower. That just nothing can get to you when you're in that state. So, I guess in service of not spending too long staring at the same screen, I will try and limit myself to just a few more seconds here to should I stay or should I go now? 75 health. You know what? I'm actually going to do some math. If this buddy has Crystal Sphere, 3d28. Oh gosh. Not looking great. With 84 damage, is that? Something like that? You would need Resistance Potion along with RF. For taking on the volcano in general, you mean? Probably. But right now I'm just debating taking on this one wizard here, which is definitely... Experience level 12 banishment is almost a certain death sentence. Oh yeah. No, I should run. It's the right call. And it is probably the one we're going with. But I gotta tease myself a little bit. If we weren't going for 4 victories in a row, I tell you, this wizard, you'd be in trouble, buddy. But let's pop out of there. Let's play it safe. Make sure we live another day. There's no reason to throw it all away, especially with not just our 4th potential victory in a row, but also on a run where we managed to pick up a plus 11 artifact in the first few floors of the dungeon on our streak. So there's a lot to potentially throw away here. Let's stick to it for now. We have at least opened up this level a bit more after taking care of the ridiculous elephant pack that was wandering around for a while there. I guess elephant and yak combo pack. Ooh, and then electric eels normally would be a pain in the butt, but lovely fact about the Gargoyle here is that sweet, sweet innate Arlek, which I love to see. I don't love fighting both these buddies at once, and in fact, I'm putting myself in a bad spot here. Ouch. Did the beetle just bite me? They can deal that much damage, eh? 32. The more you know. Okay, so let's maybe slow down a little bit. Stop just needlessly attacking multiple enemies while standing in shallow water, mind you. So, quick and easy solution here to me is probably Potion Petition, and I do believe that's what we'll go with. I do wish we had Blinking Scrolls for just such an emergency. Well, Potion Petition, pretty good odds of getting a heal wounds out of that, and we did. And in fact, we also got invisibility out of it. So we'll spend a decent amount of gold here to get all that. Do you know what? I'm also hasted. I was gonna say, so I want to fight, but probably shouldn't. And now you're rolling. Up to 64. Can you see me? No, but I'm in the water. So you probably can. Oh gosh. So scary, so quickly. Chances of polymorphing this buddy. 28%? Not great. What other options we have? Probably easiest, again, is Potion Petition. Always can scramble and hope. I don't know, can I net a rolling beetle? It seems like it shouldn't work, right? I don't know, actually, as long as the net was strong enough, it probably would tangle up something, and the faster it's moving, the less likely it is to be able to change directions. But if I miss with a net, I'm dead. I mean, it's always a dice roll, but let's be honest, I'm probably dead. So, dang it, it's tough. Do you know what? I believe. Throwing net hits the boulder beetle. Okay. Now I don't know the best call of action, though. I didn't think far enough ahead to if this actually worked out. Let's think about this before we make any sudden moves. This was supposed to be our fast run, where I didn't have to stop and think about things. But we are fast, at least. So should be able to make decent ground before it even breaks out. Now that we're out of the water, it can't see us at all, and is distracted by gold. Perfect. Okay. Wow, nice call. I don't think I've ever tried to net a boulder beetle. Well, lucky for me it worked, because there's no guarantee that that was the right answer there. But sometimes you just got to roll the dice and hope against hope that it'll all turn out. Let's run to the stairs, and we will just stand on top of the stairs. I don't think I'll worry too much about popping up. And we will still run into that boulder beetle, and this time we don't have any dang nets. So, gonna have to be a little more proactive. Oh, hello, boulder beetle. You don't come this way. What? Oh, crap. What happens if I go up now? He probably comes with me, doesn't he? Well-known fact that all beetles love money, right? Yeah, with the many, many turns being distracted by the gold up there. There are a couple of funny interactions like that, because everyone gets distracted by Gozag's gold. I think there must be something especially learning about it, because you wouldn't think a giant orb of intelligent or sentient fire would have much need for gold coins, but apparently everyone understands. Greed is good. But okay, this is interesting. I actually don't know what happens if I go upstairs with a rolling. This might be bad and cause us to just take damage for no reason, but for science, gotta know. It stops rolling. Wait, no, we blocked it. We might have blocked its attack. Dang, I was hoping that we might have solved something there, but this is going much better so far. Not getting too far away with their blink was advantageous for us. Gold pressed latinum, yeah. It's gotta be. It's that or unobtainium maybe. Vibranium maybe. It's gotta be the best of the best materials. But, I mean, what can I say against any of that? I too have been sucked in by the allure of greed here, just by worshipping Gozag ourselves. We just don't look quite as stupid about it because we're not standing around with our jaw hitting the floor, and instead we're just the ones slinging gold coins all about the dungeon. But okay, I'm just running away because I really don't want that torpor snail anywhere close to us while we have to fight our first death yak. And let's take a peek. About the same amount of health as us. Go up for 30 damage. Definitely a pretty tough fight for us, even at this stage. Plus 11 trident, again, will help out a decent amount there. Ooh, I wasted or lost a space there somehow. Probably just my fault. But alright, now it's crunch time. We're on the stairs, peaked or perched on the precipice of running away or fighting here. And what do I want to do? Throw out some poison on this bad boy. I'm really tempted to try and fight the Death Yak, which is stupid. I know, essentially when I have Goze Egg, a lot of the time, as long as I have a nice bank of money in store there, I don't mind pushing limits much at all, because in an emergency, I can potion petition 5 turns in a row. Not literally here. I think we're more at around 4 turns in a row, maybe 5 if we get good options. Good and cheap options. But with that as an emergency button in your back pocket, it's tough not to try and push at those boundaries and limits. It's just a cow. What could go wrong? It's actually just a dumb giant cow with huge horns. And actually have the Death Yak. I heard that the yak tiles changed. Now they're absolutely like ripped, shredded sheep. But did the Death Yak tiles change as well? Are they like exuding pure fear from their eyes? I guess that kind of gives off the wrong impression because it seems like they're afraid. But I guess I was trying to say that they induce fear with their very sight. One day we'll check out the newer tiles. Okie dokie, there is layer 2. Not too bad. Finishing up this is a good opportunity for us to check in with our skills, see how everything's going, make sure we're not throwing away too much, because I was about to say pole arms is probably done. Turns out it's 0.1 away from done, but just about there. In fact, yeah, the cost to level it. Oh wait, never mind. I'm looking at the wrong one because I'm an idiot. Anyway, as I was saying, 0.1, almost there. So that's pretty solid. Shields is even pretty close. So I think what we'll do here is I'm gonna start leaning into evocations just a little bit. Or throwing. I guess maybe we'll set both targets there, and I'm gonna take one more look at the old inventory here, because we have a decent number of throwing things. These boomerangs will last a decent while as well with the returning property. And on the other hand, evocable wise, not much. It would put us in a really nice spot the second we found the first of our rechargeable evocables, but tempted. I think I am more tempted to go in to throwing here, actually. I do love me some evocables, but especially since we have shoals as well, we know we're going to get a decent number of javelins, and javelins are so powerful. Like, these are even silver ones we have now. I don't want to waste these if we can, because those are absolutely incredible against Orbs of Fire in Zot. When you can just shoot through all the enemies between you and the orb and try and take them out with one of the very, very few things they're truly weak to, it's pretty awesome. So I think that just about sells me over to leaning towards the throwing side of things. But never know what the game's going to throw at you, and I could easily be convinced with just a little bit of RNG here. Specifically, I guess, a condenser vein. That's the word. It's absolutely incredible evocable item. Okay, this is a little bit silly, but I think We can fight most of these buddies with a little bit of stair dancing, so perfect. Yeah, not too risky in the end. Elephants coming in make it a little bit riskier just because they can push you off the stairs, so maybe we'll retreat for now, try and run into them in a slightly more advantageous position in the future. Worked for us last time, maybe, just maybe, it'll work for us this time as well. Oh gosh, okay, Hell Rats, I need to do a quick check here. Up to 20 damage. I definitely don't want to get surrounded, so let's just take 2 of you up. Can I fly yet? No. At a certain point here as a gargoyle, our wings will come in and we'll be able to fly. Unfortunately, not yet. Otherwise, that would have been a nice way to deal with these rat buddies, is just get out into the open water where they can't even reach us. Just poke them from far away with our trident. In fact, I'm hoping we get opportunities to use that in the future, because it's not all the time that you can do that. It's more often that you run into a Bailey and it's full of orcs that are hitting you while you're helpless to do the same back. And geez, I know I already mentioned this run, but it's just doubled down since then that we're getting all the spell books. Holy moly. A lot of them are completely antithetical to the species we are playing here. Jeez, Gastronok is a little scary. I need to potentially run. But just antithetical in terms of the fact that we got Transmutation spellbook and then Air spellbook, both of which are some of the few negative aptitudes, or -2, so the worst of Gargoyle aptitudes. Really stumbling through that one. But in current events here, Gastronok, I do not want to fight at this point. Airstrike, I think, can hit up to like 100 damage, can't it? I feel like that's usually the bar that my mind sets, is I want to have at least 100 health before I fight Gastronok. Whether that's totally accurate or not totally sure, but maybe we'll sit with that. The other option is if we could get Gastronok to turn a corner and we were hasted already, be a little more appealing maybe. And then you can die to airstrike when you forget to land for flying, yeah. And then of course we happen to run into Gastronok right after too. But no, I made that mistake on an earlier run where I mistakenly believed that this was or that 0.26 was the update that changed that to make it so that airstrike is no longer hyper effective against flying. Spriggan Enchanters almost took me out, I think, or Spriggan Air Mage. I'm really blanking on my crawl enemies today, at least what they're named. I can see the sprites in my head and that's about it. But no, definitely something we need to keep in mind. Do you know what, this stairway, kind of safe. This other one was not safe. That other one was the elephant herd. The one nice thing about Gastronok is how slow they are. So at the very least, we have the option to run away. Pretty much all the time. Especially since, as much as I really do love Che, and I had a whole lot of fun with that run, but after a Che run, there is something to be said for being able to run away again. Something truly uplifting and freeing about that simple solution to things. Oh gosh, took some bad steps there by accident with the elephants, but as long as we're only getting hit by a couple at a time, wasn't too scared, and bada boom, bada bing, there we are. Don't like where Auto Explorer is potentially taking us now. Want to make sure, might do a little bit of manual work here just to finish off these corners, and then I'm going to make sure that we head down this way so that we're potentially avoiding Gastronok here. You know what, I'll use my poison darts on this bear as well, why not? Ooh, now that I think about it, boomerangs are probably what I should be slinging here. Mid-game, it's really nice to just get a few boomerang hits in while enemies approach. In fact, it's beautiful against the Basilisk here, who will keep trying to petrify us, even though we're completely immune. Pretty awesome. But once they're in range, Trident is definitely still much better than those boomerangs. There we go, not too shabby so far here. Getting into astronaut territory, but I really want this identify scroll. Perfect. Okay, steal this identify scroll. Run back away. Scurry, scurry, scurry. In fact, how do I get... Oh, there's a little opening here. Oh gosh, I see. All clubs. Cool. You know what, let's head to the hatch and just... Oh yeah, perfect. I was gonna say wait for the monsters. I think that they'll come behind us here, and they in fact did immediately. But okay, little treasure vault there. It's definitely tempting. Let's see, oh clubs. How much damage do you do? 3d7, but then also corroding us makes that get worse and worse as we go here. I love this, the idea of this ruined plate. Also ruined boots. Oh my gosh. How could I possibly say no? Actually, yeah. Speaking of random things that get distracted by gold, even an all-club plant is not immune to the lust that Kozag's gold induces in its victims here. But an all-club plant. Keeping immunities in mind, I'm trying to think of the most effective way to deal with this buddy. Could try silver javelins. And I'm tempted to go with throwing weapons first here just because I want to be able to step out of combat at any point here. You know what? Yeah, boomerang. I don't know if that's going to cut it. Let's go silver javelins. Please don't break all my silver javelins. That would be very uncool of you. Speaking both to the game engine and to the O Club. Ouch. Okay, who heals faster? Probably the O Club, right? Oh crap. Okay, what is the range on airstrike? It's 7 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeeshka. It's only a few steps. Unfortunately, I was just slightly too far from the stairs in my resting zone here. Unfortunate. But, I mean, stepping here, Gastronaut, I don't think can see us. I think his vision... Oh, wait, maybe he can't see us. Crap. Never mind to that. I was hoping we'd be able to corner peek a little bit here. So we could preemptively try and potion petition, get a little more health, maybe even get haste under our belt here. I'm very tempted to just take a couple steps though. What other options? You could try and slow us instead. Oh, if he slows us right away. That's scary. Chances of paralyzing you, 6%. Yeah, I don't think that's happening. Actually, there is an intelligence mechanic in the game, so it is strange that non-humans can be distracted. Yeah, that is true. Because only intelligent creatures can use tools, right? Like use wands and scrolls or potions. So, I agree. You would think that most mindless things, specifically, wouldn't be quite as distracted. But, again, we have been talking about it. There's just something about Kozag's gold that gets the people going. But okay, ended up brushing through the actions there without really talking about it. But I did decide that just take a couple steps was probably the way to go. And fortunately, it did turn out for us. So, maybe we'll have to pop up for now, and we'll leave that little O Club vault for the future. Unfortunately, I did just waste 5 of my javelins temporarily. At least 5. Don't know if we mulched any yet. But that is fine. The more important thing is surviving. So we don't want to take that stairwell. No good for us here. This one is quite decent actually, because I'm even debating just popping down here, and we've explored most of this level. There's just that vault, potentially a few enemies, and of course Gastronaut wandering about. So we could just head down these stairs, especially while we know that Gastronaut is a little preoccupied at the other side of the map, at least was to the time of our departure. So maybe that'll help us out. Even the fact that these downstairs are so close to this upstairs makes this a pretty attractive option. But I did realize that before I start exploring there, I should probably deal with some inventory stuff because, I mean, we do have one identify scroll again, woohoo, can use that. But even identify scrolls aside here, we have a lot of scrolls, so I think it's about time that I risk potentially burning a blinking or a fog in order to read ID some of these, get some good old knowledge. So I'm going to read this 5 stack of scrolls, take a good long look at Destro Udgerepra. Oh, okay, and that's magic mapping, which is beautiful to have identified this early in the game. Any of the next few timed portals might be just a little bit less stressful to find, especially if it's something really nice like a bazaar. But okay, that was pretty lucky. I knew, again, I would have kicked myself if our 5 stack were 5 blinking scrolls and we wasted one this early. But before making any other moves, I am going to read our 1 identify scroll here, even though I should maybe save it for some artifacts and whatnot. But nah, we're going to identify our 3 stack of scrolls next, even though we should maybe re-ID this, but these are definitely our blinking scrolls. And there are scrolls of random uselessness. Immediately got kicked in the shins by karma there. Thanks. But that is all fine. It's not the end of the world for sure. I do wish that I had something cursed that I could just throw on to uncurse so I don't feel completely like I waste a remove curse scroll. Also, before I read that, oh crap. Okay, that ended up scarier in so many more ways. I was going to say before I read that I should have gone to the other upstairs. I knew full well that that was pretty much a 50-50 chance of getting teleport there. But we also just happened to teleport right next to our buddy Gastronaut. Would you look at that? So, let's just zippity-doo-dah the heck out of there and head back to our stairs. I'm still going to read this 8 stack, confirm that it's remove curse just in case we had a crazy seed that decided to throw 8 of a rare scroll at us instead. Never know. Also, let's make sure we put our trident back on before I accidentally try and punch a demon in the face or something. And, okay, do I want to do any more? 2 stacks aren't great for read IDing. I don't like reading, half your blinking scrolls just to identify them. Even though in all fairness, that's not exactly how that works, because having an identified blink scroll is absolutely priceless in terms of saving your character's life. But we'll still drop some random crap, maybe so I'm not completely bogged down. We keep Morg around for the will power, right? Or should maybe keep this dagger around just for the invocable invisible. That can be super handy. But okay, ring of magical power. Absolute garbage. Get out of here. And maybe that is actually as far as we go with our little experimental phase there, I guess. But picked up some boots, can finally replace those garish red rubber soles we were wearing for a nice pair of purple, I don't know, leather? Let's go with leather. Brain wanted to be a little more creative, come up with a more fun synonym there, but no such luck. So leather it is, canonically from now until forever. Because when you make a mistake, you just gotta pretend it was on purpose and roll with it, right? That's the right thing to do there. Oh my gosh, 7-headed Hydra. Many a Hydra so far on this little adventure, so already. Almost said so far. Twice in the same sentence, and that would have been embarrassing. But in order to take out this Hydropal. I mean, we can probably just fight you. You, happy medium. Let's take out the old boomerangs. Get a couple of whacks in. In fact, that worked out pretty spectacularly in just softening up the Hydropal. Throwing is already up to 6, which is pretty awesome. In fact, I might just straight up turn the skill target up on throwing. Because it's really nice to get that up there so that those ranged hits really do a number in, exactly as I mentioned, kind of softening up the tougher enemies as they approach. Does this mean snake entrance? Maybe, just maybe? It is the snake entrance. So wow, we went from a game where we got both of the animal S branches to immediately getting both of the humanoid-based S branches, which means we're going to be absolutely rolling in the shops. We'll have to hold off on calling in any custom Gozag shops just because of how many we'll run into in the dungeon organically here and maybe want to have enough spending cash to take advantage of. But definitely not a complaint from me, don't get me wrong. That is absolutely lovely for a character here. Also, I'm surprised at just how many scrolls we have, because yeah, we really ended up with a ridiculous number of these low stacks. We might even, sorry, this is gonna take a second, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 unidentified scrolls. And I'm curious, out of the potential 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there are 12 unidentified scrolls. So at this point in the game already, there are only 2 of these scrolls that we don't have in our inventory right now. And you'd think they would be like acquirement and summoning maybe? I guess, I don't know where some of these rank. Summoning is rare to me because it's always not enough of a stack. It's a nice little panic button to use, but that's pretty wacky. Makes me want to read through them all just on the off chance that we have already picked up acquirement, but I'll resist. I'll hold off for now because I don't think we have too much of a need. I guess we did pick up an identify scroll, so before we head down here, let's take another peek. I would normally maybe go for this potion stack for the next identify here, but with Gozag, we can also potion petition if we really want heal wounds without having to risk stuff. So I'm gonna go back to the scrolls. And we did it. We've identified blinking. It only took us 4 tries of trying to call it and looking like a fool. But there we go. 2 blinking scrolls in our back pocket here. Love to see that. Oh, and you know what? I ended up never getting to pick up that helmet that we left lying on the ground upstairs. So there we go. Finally, another point of AC for us. And a nice little cosmetic change. No, I do kind of want to find a new set of armor here. Chainmail, the vanilla chainmail, I guess, or what's the word I'm looking for? Unmodified chainmail, I guess. Not quite as nice of an outfit as I normally like to waltz around the dungeon in. Everyone knows that if you're gonna be making an appearance in the Dungeon of Zot, better be dressed to kill. And we're definitely not at the moment. We're looking a little wacky in the mismatched outfit that our character is going right now. There's something maybe to be said for expressing our individuality as Grophy here. Need to make a statement. And let's just ignore that electric eel for now, and you know what, why am I walking towards these buddies? Let's go into a hallway where it's a little bit safer and just take it easy, shall we? Where did you go? Where'd you go? Oh my gosh, stop. I guess when they blink away, what I should be doing is flinging boomerangs their way, because that is one of the, again, really nice parts about having a throwing-based character. But one of these days, we'll get there. I'll remember all my little muscle memory bits. Always takes a little bit to change over the mentality between runs. Still have a constant desire to just reach into our back pocket and freeze the whole screen. But, let's go with Boomerang here. You may notice that oftentimes when I go to throw something, I get the little message pop up here saying unknown command. It's because I normally macro my throwing to certain keys. Haven't done it this time. I don't know if I will either. Also, holy crap. That hurt. That very much hurt. I'm so tempted to just swing once at this buddy, because I'm pretty sure we kill them. And we have really good odds to hit with our spear. Yeah, they only have a 14% chance to evade. Oof. Let's do it. Dang it. Didn't want to use the blinking scrolls we just identified, but there we go. Instead, we take some steps and we manage to get a random energy, which I think I will use. That's tough. This has a slight chance to miss. I could Ice Blast or something and just try and get some unavoidable damage, but we'll take a stab here and perfect. We got it. Poke it to death. Yeah, no, that was my problem, is I started by throwing boomerangs at it, and then I forgot to start, or just switch to stabbing with our extremely powerful trident here. So let's not make that mistake again in the future. It's not every day that you want to be completely relying on enemies getting the bad random energy step away from you and getting the opportunity to poke like that. But I'm just taking my little group of friends here all the way back yonder to where we finally get a little bit of a corridor. I do not want to take these buddies on in a group, especially, oh my gosh, there's so many of you. So this is somewhere where we could throw out a preemptive potion petition, try and get haste or something. But actually, maybe we'll use some of our real potions, especially ones that I never touch, like the might potions. Let's take care of that yak. Hopefully the others didn't see that yak go around the pole and learn from its intelligence. Doesn't look like it. Luckily the crowd is smaller now, so they're not being pushed around the edge. But we also should take notice that we just, at level 14 here, finally got those wings growing in, so now at any time we can always activate flight, which is pretty handy. I think I'll leave it off for now. Oh no, it's such a tough thing where you're almost guaranteed, whether you decide to have flight on by default or flight off by default, you're guaranteed to run into the exact problem that would have been avoided by doing the opposite. It's just the way these things work in life. But maybe we'll stay down because I'm less likely to remember that enemies can airstrike us than realizing that we need to escape over some deep water or something like that.